Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to the 10th Inaugural meeting of the Kalinago Council. As you know, today we will see history in the making as the first woman chief will be installed this afternoon. And we can see some ministers sitting here, and behind them some permanent secretaries. And there are quite a few onlookers, performers. And I believe we are awaiting the arrival of the president. And we have the chief and the councillors at this end. And this is the former chief, as well as notable persons in the Kalinago territory. As well as representatives of groups who are doing work within the territory. It promises to be a lovely afternoon. We will have some performances from various cultural groups. And on the head table, we have the parliamentary representative for the area, Honorable Kosia Frederick. Next to him, we have Honorable Kasani Laville, the Minister of Health, representing the Prime Minister. And then we have Honorable Greta Roberts, who is the Minister for Community Development, and councils fall under community development. And rounding up the head table, we have the Local Government Commissioner, Glenroy Toussey. And I believe that we will get started as soon as the Honorable as soon as Her Excellency makes her entrance. And it is a rainy afternoon in the northeastern and eastern part of the island. So we imagine this might have delayed a few persons a bit. And we have some more cabinet ministers who have made their entrance here this afternoon. All a part of this historic celebration. You can see the Minister of Public Works, as well as the Minister of Agriculture, the Parliamentary Secretary in Education also arrived.
One, two. Please stand for the arrival of Her Excellency the President.
I love beauty, I love splendor, I too also sweet and pure. Almost surely gaze in wonder at thy gifts so rich and rare. Rivers, valleys, hills and mountains, all these gifts we do extol. Healthy lands of life, all fountains, giving cheer that warms the soul. Dominica, God has blessed thee with a climbing vine and bright, pastures green and floods of beauty, filling all with pure delight. And the people strong and healthy, full of godly reverent fear. May we ever seek to praise thee for these gifts so rich and rare. Come ye forward, sons and daughters of this gem beyond compare. Strive for honor, sons and daughters, do the right, be firmly fear. Toil with hearts and hands and voices, we must prosper, song the call, in which everyone rejoices, all for each and each for all.
Please remain standing as we call on the Karina Cultural Group to do the Kalinago song. Karina Cultural Group.
Esprit papa nous, c'est pas faute à nous. Aidez-nous, par nous force, par nous courage. Fais en place, par nous à pays à nous. Ouais, tout pour lui. Nous te bénéoué, bonté, qu'à toi voyant sa maturité. À unité nous fait canotte. Pour nous servir à pays à nous, pour nous servir à pays à nous, pour nous servir à pays à nous. Point d'esprit, papa nous, c'est pas faute à nous. Aidez-nous, par nos forces, par nos courage. Fais en place, par nous à pays à nous. Why to go Kalambas kakandane, ou mène maleba wasno, ou fait nous changer la vie nous, puis te ka viva pays à nous, puis te ka viva pays à nous, puis te ka viva pays à nous. Point esprit, papa nous, c'est pas faute à nous, aidez-nous, par nos forces, par nos courage. Fais en place, par nous à pays à nous. Why to Kubuli? Why to Kubuli? Why to Kubuli?
Please remain standing as we call on Mr. Gerard Langby to lead us in the opening prayer.
Are you menesi. Gabu inom Utehu Ahamuna. Oi Shiri Irene Bone. Oi Shiri Irene Wato Tuna Netaisi Nono. Oi Shiri O Baba Shiri. Tuman Kanyan Rakone Oi Shiri. Tuman Kanyan Rakone Oi Shiri. Ahakatu, ahakatu, ahakatu. Ahakatu.
Thank you, Mr. Langley. You may be seated. Her Excellency Sylvana Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, the Honorable Cassani Laville, Minister of Health, Wellness and Social Services, representing the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Kozia Frederick, the Minister for the Environment, Rural Mobilization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, and Parliamentary Representative for the Saliba constituency, the Honorable Oscar George, and other members of Cabinet, Mrs. Letitia Lestrade White, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, other Permanent Secretaries, the Assistant Local Government Commissioner, Mr. Steve Joseph, former parliamentary representatives for the Salibia constituency, the clerk of the Kalinago Council, outgoing Kalinago chief, and past members of the Kalinago Council, incoming Kalinago chief, and new members of the Kalinago Council, chairmen and members of neighboring village councils, cultural groups and performers, invited guests, residents of the Kalinago, the media, ladies and gentlemen, in your own Kalinago language, I say, Mabreka, Buwiti, Diwiti, Nonu. Greetings and welcome, and indeed, welcome to the 10th Inaugural Meeting of the Kalinago Territory Council. As we all know, the Kalinago Territory is pretty known for creating history. The territory creating history being the first with the indigenous peoples of Dominica. And you further created history in 1979 when the Kalinago Council, or Kalinago Act, enacted the Kalinago Council. And history was created in that the first council in Dominica to have separate elections for the Kalinago chief and the councillors. Additionally, a history was created in the first and only council that has a 5-year term. The other local authorities has a 3-year term. The Kalinago, of course, has a 5-year term. And this afternoon, we are going to create further history in swearing in your first female Kalinago chief. So this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, yes? So we are here this afternoon for a very historic occasion, creating history. But not only history, we're here to witness the swearing-in of 7 individuals from the Kalinago territory, including a Kalinago chief, who will be charged with the mandate of governing the affairs of the Kalinago territory for the next 5 years. And so we are happy that you have gathered in solidarity and support of your chief and councillors, and we do hope that this support and solidarity will continue during the term of this new Kalinago Council. Once again, I want to welcome you and to implore of you to enjoy everything the Kalinago territory has to offer. Thank you very much. And so, by virtue of Part 2, Section 4 of the Kalinago Territory Act, it states that the Kalinago chief has to take an office in the presence of the local government commissioner. And so I'm very privileged to now call on the Kalinago chief-elect, Mrs. Sanford, to come forward. I, Annette Thomas Sanford, do declare that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of a member of the Council of the Kalinago Territory. I do declare. And now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big moment. It's a moment when we are going to have the official investiture of the Kalinago chief, and I'm privileged to call on Her Excellency to perform that duties, the investiture of the Kalinago chief, and also present the credentials to the newly sworn in Kalinago chief. Ladies and gentlemen, your new Kalinago chief, Mrs. Annette Thomas Sanford. And so, Section 88 of the Kalinago Territory Act mandates that the local government commissioner administer the oath to the councillors elect. And so we'll now have the oath for the councillors elect. And of course, to present the credentials, we'll call on the Honorable Minister, Mr. Roberts, to present the credentials to the councillors. I'll first call on Irvin Wayne Rossi. I, Irvin Wayne Rossi, do declare that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of a member of the Council of the Kalinago Territory. I do declare. Francilia Daru. I, Francilia Daru,
I, Francina Daru,
do declare
do declare
that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member
of a member
of the Council
of the Council
of the Kalinago Territory.
of the Kalinago Territory.
I do declare.
I do declare.
Kimberly Tyson, I, Kimberly Tyson,
I, Kimberly Tyson,
do declare
do declare
that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member
of a member
of the Council
of the Council
of the Kalinago Territory.
of the Kalinago Territory.
I do declare.
I do declare.
Teddy Thomas, I, Teddy Thomas,
I tell you, Thomas,
do declare
do declare
that I will well
that I will well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member
of a member
of the Council
of the Council
of the Kalinago Territory.
of the Kalinago Territory.
I do declare.
I do declare.
Miranda Langley, I, Miranda Langley,
I, Miranda Langley,
do declare
do declare
that I will well
that I will be well
and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member
of a member
of the Council
of the Council
of the Kalinago Territory.
of the Kalinago Territory.
I do declare.
I do declare.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let me just say that there's one councillor missing, Miss Ristia Elick, and of course she will take an oath at the next meeting of the council, which will be administered by the Kalinago chief. So put your hands together again, ladies and gentlemen, for your new councillor chief. At this time, we will call on the outgoing chief, Chief Lorenzo Sanford, to give us his outgoing remarks. Please make him feel welcome.
Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Honorable Cassany Laville, Minister of Health, Wellness and Social Services, representing the Honorable Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Kozia Patrick, Minister of Environment, Minister of Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment, and Constituency Empowerment, and Parliamentary Representative for the Salibia constituency, Honorable Oscar George, and Honorable Members of Cabinet, Miss Letitia Lestrade White, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, Her Worship Sandra Ermin Royer, Mayor of Roseau, Mayor of Portsmouth, Ms. Brady Prince, Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, Local Government Commissioner, Assistant Local Government Commissioner, District Development Officers and other staff of the Division of Local Government, the Clerk of the Kalinago Territory Council, our Kalinago Chief, and new members of Council, Chairman and members of the neighboring councils, groups, cultural groups and performers, Kalinago, past former Kalinago chiefs, former Kalinago parliamentary representatives, residents of the Kalinago territory, other invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. A very pleasant good afternoon to all. I am honored to say these few words to you as my final act in the capacity of Chief of the Kalinago Territory and the Kalinago Territory of Waitukubuli, also known as the Commonwealth of Dominica. As a person whose heart is full of gratitude, I begin by giving thanks to the Great Spirit providing the opportunity and finding me worthy to be in the position to serve my people. His protection, guidance, blessings, and grace have been an anchor and a tower of strength in every special part of my life's journey. I say a heartfelt thank you to the residents of the Kalinago territory for their support, advice, and good counsel during my tenure as Kalinago Chief. To all those who have prayed with me and for me, ensuring that the weapons formed against me will not prevail, my gratitude is eternal. To those who have helped organize and campaign for me, I say a victory could not be held without you. I encourage you to use your knowledge, talent, and skills to continue playing an active role in chartering the future of our Kalinago community and nation. Also, keep in mind that whichever candidate we choose to support during the chief and council elections, once our intentions are sincere and the goal is to make life better for all Kalinago people, we will cooperate to make it happen. The profound and sustained support of my immediate and extended family, friends, and loved ones gave me the strength and fortitude needed in times of doubt and weakness. I feel blessed because at such times there was always someone to listen, give advice, and offer prayer. My love and respect for you will always show. I offer much gratitude to the members of the council who served with me. Your steadfast understanding, support, guidance, and cooperation made my task much more manageable. Our duties with honor and dignity, always respecting the trust placed in us by the Kalinago people. On behalf of the members of the Outgoing Council, I say thank you for having given us a wonderful opportunity to serve you. This is also a great time to say much thanks to the development partners who have provided the resources to improve our physical infrastructure, and human capital. Your continued support to the Kalinago people and the entire country are well recorded and recognized. Most visible, your contribution towards national housing revolution, from which the people of the Kalinago territory benefited significantly. This is in no way meant to overshadow all the other ways in which you have assisted our community and national development. I make special mention of the European Union, the Caribbean Development Bank, the USA, the Indian government, the UNDP, the UNFBA, UNICEF, NAO within the ministry, and all other organizations, institutions, and agencies which have been part of my journey as chief. The council which I led is grateful that we were able to assist in facilitating your activities in the Kalinago space and offer advice when necessary or requested. May this level of cooperation and commitment to the socio-economic development of all people be sustained. I must make special mention to our Honorable Parliamentary Representative, Honorable Cozier Frederick, for his invaluable support, both in his capacity as a Member of Parliament and as a friend. The high level of cooperation between the Kalinago Council and the Ministry of Kalinago Upliftment was evident in every instance as we worked on the common good of our people. The government of the Commonwealth of Dominica is the most significant source of funding and financial support for the Kalinago Council and its plans and projects. The Council raises no money by way of tax for the residents of the Kalinago territory and their property. This means that 100% of Council's financing comes from outside, mainly the central government. I say this to impress upon the valuable role that state finances play in the development process of the territory. Some may not like me saying that, but this is the reality of the situation at present. I think I speak on behalf of all sincere and honest Kalinagos when I say that we are very thankful for central government for all that have been done in the state of advancement of the Kalinago territory and its residents. Thank you for the respect shown to me in my capacity as Kalinago chief and to my councillors. In my inaugural address, I asked that we be treated equal partners, working together on the same goal. I must say that no meeting, conference, or just an ordinary conversation did I or any of my councillors feel sidelined or that our ideas were not taken seriously. Thanks to the Prime Minister and his cabinet of ministers for your assistance and support for the Kalinago people. We pray that this great relationship continues regardless who the chief, council, or party in government is. Finally, I offer genuine congratulations to the new chief and her council who are taking their oath today, or who have taken their oath today. I pray that the Creator bless, guide, and protect, and that they strive to fulfill their efforts for the better vision of our community. It is my sincere desire that your efforts will be blessed and every plan will succeed. Because if and when it succeeds, we all do. In all humanity, I offer my assistance and experience to you and your council, if ever you may need help. Now it's your time. As shown, your overwhelming victory at the polls, you are indeed the people's choice and to be the Ubuntu of the Kalinagos. God bless our Kalinago chief. God bless the councillors. God bless the Kalinago people. God bless the Prime Minister of Dominica. God bless Waitu Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Ayahura.
Thank you very much, Outgoing Chief Lorenzo Sanford, for your remarks, and thank you very much for giving service to the Kalinago people and the Kalinago territory. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to call to the podium to give an inaugural address as the incoming chief and chairman of the Kalinago territory and the Kalinago Council, Chief Annette Thomas Center.
Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton. Honorable Cassane Laville, Minister of Health, Wellness and Social Services, representing the Honorable Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister for Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development. Honorable Cozier Frederick, Minister for the Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, and also the Parliamentary Representative for the Salivia constituency. Mrs. Letitia Lestrade White, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development. Other Permanent Secretaries. Her Worship Kerry Brady Prince, Mayor of Portsmouth. Her Worship Sandra Ermine Royer, Mayor of Roseau. Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, Local Government Commissioner. Assistant Local Government Commissioner, District Development Officers and other staff of the Division of Local Government. Clerk of the Kalinago Council. Outgoing Kalinago Chief and past members of the Kalinago Territory Council. Chairman and members of the neighboring village councils, cultural groups and performers, other invited guests, members of the opposition. Special good afternoon to each of you. Mabrika. 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 My fellow Kalinago people, distinguished guests, friends, allies, good afternoon. I wish to welcome and thank all of you who have gathered and graced us with your presence at this auspicious occasion. I also want to take this opportunity at outset to thank the senders of many congratulatory messages from within Dominica, around the Caribbean, and also from international partners in various parts of the world. Today is a day of profound significance, not just for me, but for every Kalinago person, our culture, as well as our heritage as a people, and for all who have stood with us on our journey. Standing here as the first female Kalinago chief in almost 400 years, taking up the mantle of the tribal leadership, I am therefore humbled and honored by the trust that you have placed in me. This is not just a moment of personal achievement, but a collective victory for all of us, past, present, and the future. I have chosen a theme to address you today, which is Together We Can Achieve, an Indigenous people-centered vision for the 21st century and beyond. This captures the essence of what we are here to do. We are here to honor our past, engage with our present, and set a visionary course for our future. This day is not just about breaking the barriers, but being united in our hearts and in our spirits to forge a path that reflects our resilience, strength, and determination. I make bold to say that the spirits of our ancestors live within us today. Our ancestors walked this land with pride and purpose. They defended it with courage and held fast to our traditions despite of unimaginable trials. From the days of first contact, the Kalinago people have stood firm in the face of oppression, displacement, and cultural erasure. Those who were colonized and who tried to colonize Waitukubuli imposed the colonial political order that confiscated our lands, introduced enslaved Africans as free labor, and also mandated use of force against our people as legitimate. As a people, we endured rape, forced assimilation, we endured even attempted genocide and attempted slavery. With a population of just about 300 in 1903 to now 3,000 in 2024, despite it all, we survived. More than that, we are no longer considered an insignificant minority. Always remember, my Kalinago people, that we are the descendants of warriors, storytellers, and visionaries whose spirit continues to guide us today. We all stand on the shoulders of our ancestors who with courage and tenacity preserved our culture, our language, and our way of life. They fought not just with weapons, but with wisdom, passing down stories that hold the essence of who we are. It is because of their sacrifice that we are here today, a people with an unbroken spirit and a story that is still unfolding. These are the shoulders on which I now stand as your Kalinago chief. Today, we honor their memory by standing here together, unified in our purpose and determined in our resolve to build a future that honors our past, celebrates our present, and prepares us, and in particular, our children, for the future. A future that should take us into the 21st century with renewed hope and aspirations as Indigenous people. As we reflect on our past, we must recognize the importance of remembering where we came from. The wisdom of our elders is a guiding light that reminds us of the strength that lies within our roots. We must carry their teaching forward, honoring their memory by continuing to fight for the rights and dignity of the Kalinago people. Our history is one of strength and survival. We have weathered many storms, both literal and metaphorical. Despite the hardships, our people have held fast to the values that define us: community, solidarity, respect for the land and each other. Our language, our customs, and our way of life, they have endured because of our collective determination to keep them alive. We must never forget where we come from, for our roots are deep and our identity is strong. We should also remember the wisdom of our elders who taught us the power of storytelling, the importance of community, and the need to protect our sacred land. We remember the sacrifices made by generations before us, who, as I have already said, resisted colonization, fought for our rights, and ensured that the Kalinago people would remain strong and proud in the face of adversity. As I address you today, it is worth noting my own past and that of my family as a Kalinago girl growing up. My mother, a strong Kalinago woman, was born and raised in Siniku. She got married to my father, who was also born and raised in Siniku, a spirited Kalinago man, I must say, a Kalinago warrior. My mother lived as a housewife until her death, a role that many Kalinago women previously embraced. I was only about the age of 7 when she died. I know that she's smiling down on me today. My dad, a strong Kalinago man, as he still is, had the task of training us to confront the world and its challenges with determination. I dare say, as I sometimes reflect on those times, that it was no easy task living in a community faced with so many socio-economic challenges. I recall days when I had to walk to school with no shoes on my feet, sometimes with little or no breakfast, and worst of all, ridiculed by persons who drove through our community. An easy option would have been to give up, but determined as I was with a mind to succeed, I always knew that there would be brighter days ahead. I knew that whatever change I yearned for had to begin with me. If we want to see change in our community, we must all say to ourselves, let it begin with me. Growing up and along with my siblings, I helped on the farm, while at the same time we all focusing on our education. We spent countless evenings sharing dreams with each other for a better life. Dreams that meant getting a good education, a well-paying job, and more importantly, being able to give back to our community. At the time, this may have seemed as impossible. I can say with confidence that this is the extraordinary dreaming and also the hard work that has found favor in you, the Kalinago people, to have me standing here today. That yearning desire to overcome those depressing moments of hardships and to replace them with a vision of a brighter tomorrow for the young Kalinago boys and girls, the adults and the elderly in our community. As I have stated earlier, it had to begin with me, to first empower myself, to develop a solid foundation of good moral values and discipline. It required me to embrace a daily positive spirit in order to manifest the changes that I wanted to see in my community. There is this adage, if you want to fix the world, start by making your own bed. I had to first begin by making my own bed and cleaning my room. Today, I say, when you fix your bed, you will clean your room, then your home. This will then qualify you to fix the community. Too often, there are those who we allow to fix the world, but they have not yet learned to make their beds, and in the process do more harm than good. This adage of fixing my bed, I intend to carry with me throughout my life's journey. Today, my Kalinago people and friends of the Kalinagos, it is also about recognizing the present moment. We find ourselves at a crossroad, facing both challenges and opportunities. The world around us is changing rapidly, and we must adapt while holding fast to the core of who we are. In the face of globalization, environmental threats, and socio-economic disparities, and the erosion of our culture, we must assert our place, our rights, and our vision. I also say to you that these challenges present opportunities for growth, for innovation, and for strengthening the ties that binds us as a community. We are a people rich in culture, heritage, and knowledge. We must harness these strengths to address the pressing issues of our time. Our youth are stepping forward, eager to learn and to lead. I am also thrilled with expectation to take note that many more women will be stepping up to the leadership challenge in the years to come. In 2019, I stood alone in the race for chief. However, this year, there were 2 other women contesting. I wish to commend them for stepping forward. It is therefore our responsibility to provide them with opportunities that honor both our traditions and the realities of the modern world. Education, both traditional and contemporary, must become the backbone of our community's development. We must ensure that our young people are equipped to navigate both worlds, the one that we inherited from our ancestors and the one that we build today. We must create spaces where our young Kalinagos can learn, grow, and lead. My people, permit me to thank you for electing me to lead you as your Kalinago chief. Your unanimous call was a call for proper representation based on competence, qualification, and a genuine need of service to community. I am indeed grateful for the confidence that you have all placed in me as your chief. I am also very proud to know that I have a wonderful team of councillors, and I promise to discharge along with them the duties with humility, guided by the wisdom of our ancestors. I embrace wholeheartedly the opportunity that the great spirit of our ancestors has given me to lead you for the next 5 years. I am committed in taking the challenges head on, together with each one of you, to bring about the change that we would all like to see in our Kalinago territory and by extension, our country, Waitukubuli. To accomplish this, we need as a Kalinago people to always stand strong, remain resilient and confident and united in making our community a model of peace and prosperity. As I take the oath of office today, I am also cognizant of the 20 former Kalinago chiefs, all Kalinago men who have taken this oath in modern history, starting with Chief Pedit Francois in the 19th century, to our most and youngest chief, Lorenzo Sanford. I say, Ayahora, for all that you have done. It is with pride and honor as I present to you the Kalinago people and our friends gathered here today, the team that will comprise the new Kalinago Council and the portfolios and responsibilities that they will each represent. Francilia Daru, Health and Social Services. Kimberly Tyson, Youth and Sports Development. Miranda Langley, Tourism, Culture and Heritage. Ted Thomas, Agriculture and the Environment. Wayne Rossi, Small Business Development and Entrepreneurship. And we have Ms. Ricia Ellick, who will be taking up her oath later on. She is designated Education, Communication, and Technology. I ask all of you to take your responsibilities seriously, and I thank you for stepping forward to serve our people. The question, I guess, that is popping in our minds as I speak is how can the Kalinago territory build a prosperous community as one people with collective aspirations and purpose? Let me sound the warning that it will not be easy. It will require the collective effort of all of us within the community, as well as those outside of the territory with the mandate under the Constitution to do well by the first people of this nation. It will also require a detachment from our political, religious, and social cloaks. We will need to dig deep into our history, show an appreciation of our Kalinago experience to this day with a view to embracing our creativity, our best practices, and our ambitions. As I address you, we will all agree that the work ahead is fraught with many challenges. Just to highlight a few: abandoned farms, infrastructures in need of rehabilitation. As we speak, the Kalinago Council and the Chief does not have a dedicated office space from which to operate. Inadequate sporting facilities, roads in need of repair and to be completed, environmental degradation to some of our rivers and natural resources, the need to revive and to keep alive our heritage, our talented minds having the zeal but not the necessary support, lack of social and financial support to get through to college or to start a small business, underperformance at the primary school level and too many high school dropouts, inadequate support for the elderly in the area of healthcare. These are just a few of the challenges and issues that we will face as the incoming Kalinago Council. I need to also make brief mention of the consequences of greed, which have crept into the mindset of our people. Unfortunately, we have seen gluttony take hold of some of our leaders who have placed themselves before the people that they were elected to serve. My appeal is a call for a change. I urge each one of us, as we take our oath today, to be mindful of our responsibilities and the need for accountability and transparency as we serve. I am, however, very hopeful that you're turning out in the numbers as you did on the 22nd of July. To elect me as your chief is a testament of your desire to see transparent and accountable leadership, as well as leaders that will put people at the center of development, respect for the individual and collective voices of the people that they represent. It is my hope that today is the rebirth of this new beginning, a movement of progress for us as indigenous peoples and a step in the right direction. I commit to you, my people, that notwithstanding my petite Kalinago stature, the powerful spirit of my ancestors runs in my veins. And I am sure that I can say the same for each one of you who was elected to serve on the council. I am optimistic that the energy that existed during the campaign will be manifested throughout the term in our office as we work together in accomplishing our goals in the territory. It should not be business as usual. Looking ahead, our vision is clear. We envision a future where the Kalinago people thrive as a self-sufficient, sustainable, and empowered community. A future where our land, language, and culture are preserved, celebrated, and passed on to the next generation. A future where we are not only seen, but heard on the global stage, advocating for our rights and the rights of all indigenous peoples. Our community must also be built on a foundation of equality and respect, where every Kalinago man or woman, young or old, has a voice in shaping our future. As we move forward, let us commit to inclusivity and unity, ensuring that no one is left behind. Together, we can address issues of healthcare, housing, education, and economic development. Together, we can lift each other up and build a society where every Kalinago feels empowered, valued, and proud. For decades, we, the indigenous peoples, and as a community, lived on communal lands. This has had serious implications on our social and economical development. Many brilliant minds who could have made it to university were unable to do so, simply because their parents could not get access to a study loan for their children. Unfortunately, that still continues today. Many of you feel trapped in the cycle of financial constraints, which is a result of our inherited circumstances. There are public officers as we speak who, until retirement, are unable to obtain a mortgage for that very same reason. A cycle which seems never to end. I say to you today, we need to find new and creative ways of addressing this issue. The Kalinago Development Fund, which was launched by the government of Dominica in 2020, specifically for the Kalinago territory, was a step in the right direction. Moving forward, we need to conduct an in-depth analysis of whether the fund met its intended objectives, since there are many who felt that they had not benefited from this initiative. As your chief and with the council, we look forward to working with the central government, our parliamentary representative, as well as the minister responsible for Kalinago affairs, in finding ways to augment this fund for the benefit of you, the people. As has been said, let's prepare Kawete and our cell tet. All the ideas are not in one head. There has to be collaboration and finding common ground to the task ahead. Additionally, we must embrace sustainable development that respects our traditions and our environment. We must invest in green technologies, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture that align our values and our connection to the earth. We must create economic opportunities that benefit our people and ensure that the prosperity we build is shared by all. Today, I call on the Caribbean leaders who may be listening to my address to join hands with me in helping to develop the only living indigenous community in our region. Your help would contribute towards healing the hurt and the injustice experienced throughout our existence as indigenous people. I am looking forward to having some meaningful dialogue and collaboration with as many of you during my term as Kalinago Chief. It is worth noting that as Dominica indigenous people, we are also the people of the region. Our success is the region's success. Likewise, our failure is also a failure of the region as a people. As we speak, I am happy to announce to you today that we have already commenced our regional and international connection. We are pleased to have in our midst representative from the St. Vincent tribe, Augustine Sutherland, Chief Sutherland. Thank you for gracing us with your presence here today. I speak on your behalf, also asking that you act in your jurisdiction and to amplify the cause of the indigenous people in the region. I am pleased to note also that as we forge forward in our development quest, we have started discussions with various local organizations representing the interests of the Kalinago people. One such discussion is with the chairman of the Board of Directors of DOWASCO, and I am pleased to announce that our outstanding water bills have been cleared as of February 2024. Thank you to everyone who was involved in making this happen, and in particular, Mr. Patrick Hill, for your efforts in this regard. More information will be provided to you, the Kalinago people, when we have our Hamlet meetings. I also wish to report that there have been some initial discussions with two financial organizations to explore the possibility of having a branch in the Kalinago territory. The responses so far have been very positive and encouraging. Your council hope to continue with these discussions as we venture in the future. My Kalinago people, I am also delighted to report that we are set on taking the Kalinago week of events coming up soon. This year, the highlight will be our Kalinago Village Exposition on Sunday, September 15th, 2024, starting at 10 a.m. We're encouraging and extending an invitation to families across Dominica to join us and to come celebrate with us. Come and taste the Kalinago culture through our foods, drinks, clothing, crafts, jewelry, and our Lapo Cabbage competition, and lots more. This will take place at Sutumas Park in Gaulet River. Kalinago Week is a solemn moment for us as we remember the 1930 incident where we lost our freedom to travel between the islands. It is also a moment for us as the Kalinago people to pause and to remember those who lost their lives in resistance to an infringement by the colonizers on our way of life. Caribbean leaders, we need you to provide a tribute to us, Kalinago people, to have free movement of the indigenous peoples across the islands. Interestingly, a few days ago, Patrick Shamasu published on 3rd September 2024 entitled Kalinago e Arawak pu incitoyente transnacional. He expressed his desire for this to happen. I too wish to lend my voice to this call. I also wish to caution that the solemn moment of 1930 should not only be remembered as a moment of celebration. We should never celebrate an oppression of our Kalinago people. The Master of Nature has reminded us year after year that we are not doing right by this event, and we have ignored the warnings for too long. It is on this premise that I make an appeal as your Kalinago chief to the acting Prime Minister here this afternoon and to the government of Dominica that serious consideration be given to the promise made by the Prime Minister at the 2019 inauguration of Chief Lorenzo Sanford to designate a national day in dedication to the indigenous people of Dominica. That day would appropriately, we will celebrate our culture and heritage as an indigenous people. We would wish to recommend July 4th as such a day. It is our hope that July 4th, 2025 would be the start of this celebration. My Kalinago people, your new council has started drawing up a 5-year development plan. This will be completed through further consultation and collaboration with you as we go through our upcoming Hamlet meetings, where you will have an opportunity to engage with us and give us your inputs and recommendations before we complete the final document, that is. A major component of our 5-year plan would be a review of our Kalinago Act. This is to bring it into conformity with the United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People. As we speak, this document holds us hostage from having full ownership of our lands and the ability to fully self-determine our future. We are hoping to engage in early discussions with the government on this matter, which we consider to be of high priority, and we look forward to Your Excellency, Mrs. Burton, to have your full support in having the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Indigenous People review the Act and make recommendations on how it can be aligned with the provisions of the United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. In the longer term, we wish to underscore that our collective aspiration is for the Kalinago peoples of Dominica to be formally mentioned in the preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica whenever it is amended. In relation to other discussions with government, it is my hope that as your chief, we will also engage with them collaboratively on economic programs that would benefit the Kalinago people, stemming from the recently passed $1.4 billion national budget. Some programs or projects that immediately come to mind are the goat program, the fishing boat program, as well as the small business fund for the youth. We also have arrived at a juncture where the conversation about the taxation system has to begin as it relates to the indigenous people of Dominica. The reduction or exemption of taxes may be one way of equalizing the economic disparities of indigenous people within our community. Mr. Acting Prime Minister, I am optimistic that your cabinet and the council can have discussions shortly. As your Kalinago chief, it is my intention to engage in continued, meaningful dialogue with the government. This relationship will thrive on the utmost recognition of our rights as indigenous people, as enshrined in the United Nations Declarations on the Rights of Indigenous People, and as enumerated by its guiding principles, particularly free, prior, and informed consent. I wish to commend the congratulatory remarks expressed by Her Excellency the President, my indigenous sister, in asking that we are not to be political in the discharge of our duties as councillors. It is my hope that Her Excellency will reciprocate in like manner as President of all the people of Dominica. The greatest hindrance we face in relation to the development of our community is the doubt that we have forced upon ourselves, the fear of taking risks and selling ourselves short. My journey has proven that anything is possible if we work hard to achieve it. Today, I call on each of you to join me in this journey. It will not be easy, but I believe in the strength and resilience of the Kalinago people. Together, we can achieve an indigenous people-centered vision for the 21st century and beyond. Together, we can build a future where the Kalinago people are empowered, self-reliant, and thriving. In closing, I want to thank all of you for the faith that you have placed in me. As your chief, I promise to serve with integrity, dedication, and a deep commitment to our shared vision. I believe in the power of our community, in the wisdom of our elders, and in the potential of our youth. Together, let us continue to stand strong, honor our heritage, and build a brighter, more prosperous future for all. The journey ahead is ours to walk, and I know that united, there is nothing we cannot achieve. May the spirit of our ancestors guide us, and may we move forward with courage and hope. Ayahora.
Thank you very much, Chief Sanford, for your remarks. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, this happened to be the first meeting of the council, and the meetings of the council is chaired by the chairman of the council, which happens to be the Kalinago chief. So I'll now hand over the rest of the proceedings to your chairman, Kalinago Chief Sanford.
So at this time, we will listen to remarks from the Honorable Cozier Frederick, Minister for the Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, and who is also the parliamentary representative for the Salibia constituency.
Let me first acknowledge the presence of Her Excellency Mrs. Sylvanie Burton and Mr. Burton. They are home, so that's good. Also, Honorable Casanila, Minister of Health, Wellness and Social Services, who represents the Prime Minister. Honorable Petra Roberts, Minister for Culture, Sports and Community Development. My comrades in arms, George Grant, McIntyre, Roland Roy, tell me someone? And Pemberton. Also Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, the local government commissioner, outgoing chief and present chief, Lorenzo and Mrs. Annette Burton, Annette Sanford, past parliamentarians, past pal reps, past Kalinago chiefs who are here. We do have the presence of our UN partners in UNDP, UNICEF, the IOM, and also my good friend and brother for a number of years, Sadu, who visiting from St. Vincent. Our community members here, the students from the various schools, friends, the police, the media. I really want to thank you for being here this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very fortunate to be a member of this community. I'm happy to serve as the Minister of Government, but also I am very fortunate to be a son of the soil, a warrior, who have gotten very good advice from this community. Advice from my father, my uncles, both Kalinago chief, my cousins, Hillary and other cousins who were in the governance of the Kalinago space. And as a student of history, I understand the struggles that we've been through, and that's why I'm happy to serve as the minister responsible, not only for the Kalinago space, but for the environment and for Dominica in general, because Dominica, in essence, is a natural space, the Nature Isle, because of our Kalinago people. And I felt very refreshed this afternoon, a refreshing time for me, hearing the former Chief Obutu Sanford speak, and speak very candidly. I was also refreshed by the remarks by Obutu Sanford, because it's an ongoing conversation. Because we need to realize and remember that our community have gone through various struggles over hundreds of years. 1763, British took over. 1903, the British gave us Kalinago territory. I'm not sure if we should celebrate that because they gave it to us, or if it should be our day. By 1952, after they destroyed the governance of our Kalinago territory, we became part of the local government system. That's why the Honorable Greta Roberts is here. And by 1978, the laws that govern us, that the present chief and council have to follow, was reaffirmed in independence of 1978. There's a big history. And as a little boy growing up in the Salibia, in Fort Saint Marie, as we call it, where the Kalinago territory really began, with the old church, the school, the presbytery, the cemetery, the bay, the police station, the playing field, Las Balem, Pasay Pica, all of the places there. I know that the Kalinago territory has grown over a number of years. From having a school with one big hall and to having a modern school with plenty classrooms. From having a little health center to having a modern health center, which of course can be improved. From having a TWAS coming down Salivia and a TWAS or a little track going to Jerick and the back road now, a very, very smooth highway connecting the Tuna village to Salivia. So I've seen improvements just in my lifetime. And if these improvements are the testimony of work done for the last 20 or so years, and if I should say 40 plus years of independence, you can really imagine how different it is today than how it was 100 years ago. And also to remind you that the Kalinago territory and the Kalinago people, we as warriors have been there for thousands of years. Thousands of years. So we have to measure very carefully. Because thousands of years, Dominica was rugged, it was fertile, it was a land of abundance. And when the Europeans came in, and I wear this European clothes this afternoon there, but when the Europeans came in, they started chopping down the forest and had this monocrop culture, brought in plants like coconuts and breadfruit, pepper, and all those things. They brought them down because they were trying to do a plantation economy. And so what they did, they destroyed our forest. But we've been trying to fix it for ourselves in our time. And I want to call out former Chief Irvins and former Chief Masquem and former Palaps Kelly Grano and Cassius Daru and all of those folks who have been in their own way trying to make this space better. They have worked very hard on the trying times, because one thing I realized by being a son of the soil is that one of our biggest struggles is ourselves. And we have to take on ownerships. So when we speak about the rights that we have to have, it's very, very, very important, or it is of utmost importance to know that we have to have a responsibility. We have to have a right, and the UN DRIPS is very simple. I heard that the chief here spoke about the UN DRIPS, but it is really just a framework that have to help people to reconcile, to fix the injustices, and also it has to talk about peace, and it has to speak about how do we have a harmony, a cooperation among people, and how do we honor the legacy of our people. So this ceremony here today, especially part of UN DRIPS documentation, it is adhering to some of these principles because we are following tradition. We have a chance to not to be oppressed, to have our own ceremonies. And so within a state like ours, we have a lot of rights. And I think we should take our time to tick off those rights. But while we're ticking off those rights, what is our responsibility? When we have free water, when we have water, how did it come? You have to run a pipe. Who pays for it? When we have children with access to university education, what is their right to come back into a community and stand up and and participate and be part of that journey. Come back and do that. When we look at access to education for primary school children, school uniforms, school books, transportation to school, school feeding programs. Just on Monday, I handed over with a positive partner like UNICEF who handed over the kitchen to the Salibé Primary School. And it's an important thing. Only $40,000. It's a little thing, a little change. But I know that the students who are sharing that space from Sineco and Salibé will have a place to have a hot meal, have a little breakfast, a little brekkie. And so it may look simple, but we have to look at the context in which we are surviving today. African brothers who came, who are now our brothers in arms. I find sometimes I get more support from people who came than my people themselves. And we have to look at those things because we are positive partners in those people. And so the people who came, we have this wonderful Creole culture that we are part of. I'm happy to be part of it. But also the people who came, you have to remember that we are special, we're unique. You don't come into our space and do anything you want, we have to get a check. And I stand with the chief on this, on the Ubuntu on this, and I stand with Sado in St. Vincent that we have to continue to push for our rights. But in so doing, brothers, sisters, comrades, friends, we have to take on a big responsibility. The parents who have children going to the schools, you can't leave the teachers alone to grow your children. You have to take a responsibility for it. The civil groups in society, the churches, the Boy Scouts, the sports group, you have to take a responsibility for what's happening. And so I know that local government is crucial, is important. Because there are common themes with what I do as a minister or at the cabinet level with what a local government does. A special situation in Kalinago territory, we have about four councils in Dominica. We have the Portsmouth Town Council, the Canefield Urban Council, the Kalinago Council, and all those other councils. And we also have the Roseau City Council, so about 5 councils here. And that has a short history. In the 4,000 or 5,000 years of Kalinago people on this land, that local government movement is only about 80 years. It's a little time, a short space in our history. So the historical part of it is important because as a local government authority, the chief and council, you have to understand your rights, that is, and responsibilities that is entrenched in the Kalinago Act. So while we know that there are corrections, there are adaptations to be made, you have to deal with the document that sits before you. And it gives you a responsibility to take some actions. But these actions are not only on your behalf, but on behalf of the Kalinago people in its wholesomeness. And that is why it was affirmed in 1978, the independence movement, because the government at the time understood the importance of having a powerful people like the Kalinago existing in our space. Because the government has a positive partner in the Kalinago people. When we speak to the tourism movement, how do we bring people to our country? And so we have, massive international airport, people will be flying in, bouncing off from all over the globe. And they want to see the Kalinago space. They're going to drive on this wonderful road, $127 million from Guadzeb to Hatton Garden. It had a few dust, it had some dust some time ago, everybody complained to us. But then it's nice, so nobody say anything. And we have to look at that because this is serious investment. This is serious investment that the government is doing on behalf of the people. And so we have to keep on those partnerships. Those partnerships are important because government has a role to play and the local government authority has a role to play. I know for a fact that when you look at governments across the region, it appears to me that the government of Dominica, and I would maybe say more directly the Labour Party government, have been the sole government who have given a minority group of people the majority of benefits. So we are more than ever equal citizens in our own country. We could. I went to school in Roseau a few years ago, and it was when I quite come out. And now Kalinago people can walk through Roseau as proud people. So we have made some steps. We have made serious steps. And the president of our country is a Kalinago woman. We have Kalinago people in various professions. As a matter of fact, we have the highest number of university graduates per capita in the Kalinago State. And it didn't come by chance. It was a targeted effort by the government to ensure that, hey, we give those people from the Kalinago based on equal opportunity. That's why when more than 50 of those scholarships were given by Hugo Chavez a few years ago, that most of them came to the Kalinago States. When you drive north to the Kalinago territory, you'll see the housing stock is a bit different. When you come in through Castle Bruce and you come in through Margini over there, you see the houses are different. Because when I came through here a few months ago, I saw little huts. They were neat, they were nice, but they were little huts, little houses. And right now we have really robust houses. So the government has stepped up. And it has stepped up not just because of Hurricane Maria, for instance, because of leadership at a high level who understands the importance of putting our Kalinago people at a very high level. And I dare say that the Prime Minister says every time when he speaks in public forum that he is of Kalinago heritage. And I feel a little special as a pal rep because I have the Prime Minister back. So this morning I call him up and I say, boss, the Kalinago week, you know, where's the little coin? And he says, my brother, that's set up. And so we have a relationship. So there's a body relationship with government. And I just want to encourage the council to continue to work on that relationship. It can only get better after time. It will only get better. And so I just want to encourage you to go for your rule book, go for the law. It's a bit different because you don't have, the council is different, it's special. The chair of the council is right here with us. And interestingly, for those of us who don't know, she serves as the chair of the council, but she's also a sovereign, a chief. And that's the important thing. And the chief is a symbolic position as well. But it also has a high level of responsibility because my Obutu, you are now the figurehead of the Kalinago people. So the words that you utter, the things that you say, the smiles that you give, or the expressions of your face will represent all of us. All of us. And I dare say, not only the Kalinago people who stay in our space, but there are hundreds of Kalinago people spread all across the country. That is why this space is full today. There are people I haven't seen in a long time and they're here today. Some say Roseau, some come to vote for the council and they come because they're there, because they have a right as well. So we cannot divorce them from our space. And I would say, council and chief, that we have good partners, good leadership from local government commissioner who's here, and he will guide in the process. And I'm happy to appreciate your roles and your responsibilities. And I really want to just say thank you to the Kalinago people who really came out and supported the movement for the Kalinago chief elections. Because for some time I realized there was a sort of discounting of the importance of the chief. And so there's a high level of importance now. And so when Chief Williams and Chief Evans and Chief Forsters and Master and Garnett and Chief Lorenzo come to a ceremony like this in 5 years' time, the report card will be bigger. And so the Chief and Council now, you are all standing on the shoulders of the Chief and Council before you, just like the very same way I stand on the shoulders of Kelly and Ashley and Cassius and even old man, my honorable elder, Mr. Daru. Because I can't discount the work that they have to do. And no one will ever know, Chief, when you have the tough nights and you have to make the decisions. No one will know how many hours you stayed up to write projects and do stuff and make calls. Everybody will be chilling in their bed and saying, Chef Lagafe now. And so you will have a hard time. But it's good. Because as a warrior, queen I should say, we expect you to take that stance. Because, like you said in your presentation, what the warrior but stands in us. And we cannot be wimpy and crying, oh, this and that. We have to be strong. The only way we survive in this space, Commissioner Hussein, because we were strong. Let us came with guns and swords, diseases, and we will survive that stuff. And so we in 2024, if a good government in place pushing partners with UNDP, IOM, UNICEF, we can't be complaining and being haggard, oh, I don't know, no, we have to get up. We have to get up. Because we are setting the stage for a new generation of children who for the most part, don't read enough. And the access to information is grand. So when they ask you how I was born and you don't tell them you fall from a tree, they know that already. They are more advanced in technology than you are. And so we have to create this space for, like we say in indigenous circles, for 7 generations of kind of people to come. So these decisions we make today, we have to ensure that we do it for thousands of people after us. And to say, in the background of every room like this, there are people who grumble, who boo on who talk. But we need those people to come out and show their muscle, to build the roads and to participate. Because there's just too many people who just sit back in a corner, fold their hand. And it gets to that point where it doesn't help. And what is I think the sad part of all of this conversation is the fact that our children are learning this bad habit, these old tendencies. They're learning to be just pull up, and they don't want to work hard because they hear us as big people, as we say, Guamun, speak for the most part a lot of rubbish. And so we have to empower them, and we have to get away from this boo-away face and have a nice demeanor and share the love and participate in growing our community. So it's not easy as counselors. And you might say, boy, a counsel before us was nonsense. You only thought nonsense. But when you see the brunt of the work, you may rethink of what you think local governments is about. I know my role as a minister is a simple one. All I want to continue doing, like I've always done, I've always spoken on behalf of the Kalinago people. I have never shared any bitterness among people. There are those who say this and that about Kosia and he doesn't believe in things and stuff. But that's fine. But I know I represent the Kalinago people, and that's my only journey. And I will continue to serve as a conduit. So I'm needing to pipe to connect the council and the government. And when I travel as a Kalinago Brave and I speak on international forums, I will connect the Kalinago people as well. To show the world that we are here to stay, we have a lot to offer, we have developed to a certain level, but we want to keep growing. And so I'm happy this afternoon to join this short ceremony and to give my all to the council and the chief, and to say to the Kalinago warriors out there that you have to play your part. You have to take on your responsibilities. We all want rights, we all want things, but we have to take on a serious responsibility. Because it's not easy living in a community like ours, in a small island state like ours, small country, 70,000 people. We can fit in New York a couple times. We've been hit and destroyed by hurricanes like Maria time and time again, trough systems, all kinds of stuff have been happening. We've been able to bounce back. And I dare say we only bounce back because in our DNA as Dominicans, or I dare say white Ikubulians, we have a DNA of Kalinago going for us. And that is why we can continue to prosper and continue to be strong and resilient. It's not by chance. We're doing this. And so I want to call on the community here to support the council. The council, of course, will have a series of meetings and engage you and participate in the conversation. Help the council develop itself and help the young councillors to grow and to participate. But also, I know that the council has a right, a responsibility to listen to the community. It's not easy. You all have campaigned in some way or the other as to what you would do, but you have to be mindful that it's easy to write something on a piece of paper. It's easy to say some words, but it's also important to connect those with the resources and to build positive partnerships. So we will continue to preserve the Kalinago heritage for another generation or two. We will continue to see representation from the government as I sit as the power rep and the Kalinago minister. I will continue to represent you as the best as I can, and knowing that when when you fed up with me, you will go to the polls and do your business. But while I there, just allow me now to really work as best as I can. And give me the strength, give me the support. Because the criticism doesn't work. And it doesn't help. And for me, I'll do that. I can take that. I can take that. So we have to make sure that we can continue to grow our community. I'm really happy that we all could be here. And for those of you who have come here for the first time, keep on coming. And I hope you have come here for good reasons. Because I know sometimes there are little malicious things happening in the background. So we have to be also mindful in Kalinago territory of people who need to support us in a positive movement, but also those who are trying to navigate among us and create waves that will not help us. And so, friends, comrades, brothers and sisters, I'm really happy to be here and to see the numbers of you are here from across the board. I see good friends in the crowd, good friends, good people who share ideas, who are solid, who may not agree with me on certain things, and that's fine, but who I think have a good heart for what should be the Kalinago space. And I dare say, long live the Kalinago people, long live our country by Chikubuli. I suspect, Chief, you have to help me to work on that name change for Dominica. Change Dominica into Waitukubuli. Let's do that. Let's do one thing. Let's one thing together. That's a big thing. So we'll not be confused in Dominican Republic and people talking to in Spanish and stuff. So we can do that. So these are big things we could do. Let us rename all the roads in Kalinago Church and in Roseau after warriors. Get rid of King George V Street and let's call that Chief Irving Street. And let's do that. So Captain colleagues, you have to help me as well. Because we have to have a serious change, a serious movement. Because we have to, friends, we have to continue to cement ourselves in the Kalinago space. So we have our president, we have our chief, we have our pal rep, we have good community leaders who are all willing to sacrifice. But all of us in this room have to help, to play our part, and do it if I would have. Be candid. And for those of us who kneel and pray and bow, there'll be a time of clarification. And I hope that you'll be clarified on the good side of doing something good for your community. And I really want to thank you for being here. I'm humbled by this. I'm humbled by the opportunity to serve. I might be one of the few pal reps. You can help me, Mr. Grano and Daru, to serve two chiefs. I might be lucky to be the pal rep to have two chiefs, Lorenzo and Annette. And so I see better days coming. I see hope for the Kalinago space by building good partnerships, by continuing to push for our rights, but at the same time taking on a serious responsibility to be serious people in our land that we claim to be ours, and by the blood and the sweat of our ancestors, we can leave it in a nice place for future generations. I have a grandson. I want him to be living in a wonderful, peaceful place, and then when the history books are written, Chief, there'll be wonderful things written about us, and we'll have a little part to play in making Waitukubuli the best place to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Frederick, for your remarks, your words of encouragement, and of course, encouraging us as a people to work together and to be able to accomplish our goals as one. At this time, we will listen to Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister for Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, as she makes a few remarks.
Good afternoon all. Let me join those before me and use your own language. Mabrika. Her Excellency Sylvani Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Mr. Burton. Honorable Kasani Laville, Minister for Health, Wellness and Social Services, and representative of the Prime Minister. Honorable Kozia Frederick, Minister for the Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, and Parliamentary Representative for the Salabia constituency. Honorable Oscar George, Minister of State in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, my other honorable cabinet colleagues, Mrs. Letitia Lestrade White, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, Mr. Glenroy Touser, Local Government Commissioner, Assistant Local Government Commissioner, or District Development Officers and other staff of the Division of Local Government, the Clerk of the Kalinago Council, Outgoing Kalinago Chief, and past members of the Kalinago Council, incoming Chief, and members and new members of the Council, former Kalinago Chiefs, former parliamentary representatives, chairman and members of the neighboring councils, cultural groups and performers, residents of the Kalinago territory, representatives of UNDP and other invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. It is an honor for me to be here with you this afternoon to have witnessed the official swearing-in of our Kalinago chief and councillors, and also to be in the community of the person who holds the highest office in this country, Her Excellency the President, Mrs. Sylvana Burton. Her Excellency is no stranger to such ceremonies. Since she began her journey as clerk of the Kalinago Council, worked as a district development officer, the district development assistant, and of course later served as the permanent secretary with responsibility for local government. This experience has helped her in ensuring that several development projects and programs were completed in this community. And this is why today marks such a significant moment in the lives of our Kalinago people, where for the first time you will be led by a woman as your Kalinago chief and council chair. I wish all of you newly sworn in councillors a productive term of office, and I have no doubt that if each of you embrace an approach of serving your people and community selflessly, without fear or favor, you will all do well. Let me also congratulate you, the first woman Kalinago chief. Let me do that officially. And wish you success in your continued service to the community. You are ably assisted by a team of 4 women and 2 men. And so I implore you to work together, focused on the sole purpose of building those communities that are entrusted in your care. It would be remiss of me, of course, not to extend profound gratitude to the outgoing Kalinago chief and councillors. Our Kalinago council is quite unique, as you heard before, since it is the only council in Dominica with a 5-year term. And to have sacrificed your time, talent, and treasure to the service of your community over these years is commendable. So thank you, former Chief Lorenzo and councillors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great time to be of service on the Kalinago Council, especially when there is so much awareness and focus on indigenous peoples globally. I need to state categorically that in Dominica, we give full recognition to the Kalinago people, who have passed on to us that rich historical, cultural, and indigenous knowledge that is unique and invaluable. You play a critical role in defining and embracing our identity, our sense of belonging and resilience. And as a government, we will continue to champion your cause as we have always done in the past. Let us not forget that it is through this government that the first Minister for Kalinago Affairs was appointed, that it was the first division with responsibility for Kalinago Affairs was established, that the first head of state or president was appointed, and must I also add that it was this government that made it first to have made substantial investments in the development of your people. Over the years, we have worked assiduously to positively impact every sector for your greater advancement, whether it's in education, housing, agriculture, small business, tourism, cultural or craft development, and notably so, the major infrastructural project, one of the most resilient road networks in all of Dominica. Under this DVRP initiative, farmers and landowners who were displaced since the main road had to be realigned were all fully compensated for land and crops in excess of over $1.7 million to the council. I do hope that you have reinvested some of those resources to continue to grow the sector and create a sustainable livelihood for yourselves and your families. I am also very much aware of many other ongoing initiatives and projects that are undertaken in collaboration with your council. This includes the construction of over 100 houses under the Government of Dominica World Bank Housing Program, the EU funding through this government of 50 houses in the territory, and additionally, the housing program supported by the UNDP in the sum of $300,000, another such initiative. The first phase of the SSLR program, strengthening sustainable livelihoods and resilience, in collaboration with the Government of India and implemented under the UNDP in the tune of $1 million, was completed in January. But a second phase of the same amount has been approved and is expected to commence in the next few months. We also have ongoing the CDB-funded Community Disaster Risk Reduction Project. The outcome of this very important intervention will include capacity and skill development, which will deliver for you a multi-purpose facility, which will also serve as an emergency shelter in Bataka. So I anticipate that with all that has been done, much more will be expected to continue. So councillors, with all these ongoing initiatives, it is evident that your task ahead is very demanding. And so it behoves each and every one of you to demonstrate sound leadership, commitment, dedication to task, and teamwork if you are to succeed. This past council election was indeed a highly contested one, with 24 of you contesting. And so, Madam Chair and councillors, I urge you, try not to approach your work with any preconceived ideas. Rather, work to build unity among your Kalinago people and foster collaboration to assist in the further development of the Kalinago territory. Embark on a familiarization and personal education exercise to be well informed of your role as councillors. Acquaint yourselves with the Kalinago Act. Get familiar with these ongoing initiatives just mentioned and take responsibility for promoting and improving on the areas you believe you can. Community education and participation are paramount and important ingredients if the work that has been started is to be sustained. Make time for training and strategic planning sessions where you clearly define your collective vision and set some attainable goals, realistic ones at that you aim to achieve over the next 5 years. Do your stakeholder engagements. Work with your parliamentary representative, local government division, your community leaders and partners, and garner their support for the betterment of your community, the Kalinago territory. In all you do, never forget your most vulnerable, those with special needs, the elderly, single parents, and children. Amidst all this litany of duties, I must remind you that you are also being sworn in at a time that is considered the peak of the hurricane season, and you must be alert and responsive. Please ensure that your disaster plan is updated and be ready to respond to any hazard that may threaten us. Stand ready to assist those among you who may need shelter. Listen to the radio and pay attention to the guidance of the Met offices and the Office of Disaster Management. In other words, do all in your power to keep your people safe. For all of you villagers gathered here today in large numbers to witness this important and historic ceremony, I encourage you to work together with your council and do your utmost for the development of your various hamlets. We thank your council clerk and staff and trust that they will assist you with a smooth transition as you assume your duties. Madam Chair and councillors, again, let me take this opportunity to wish you a productive year, or 5 years, sorry. I wish you well, and I give my unwavering commitment to supporting your council. Be assured that the staff of the Division of Local Government stand ready, as always, to provide you with the necessary orientation, training, and ongoing guidance throughout your term. Congratulations once again. I thank you.
All right, so that was the Honorable Greta Roberts, and we thank her also for her contribution and her support to the new elected council. At this time, we will listen to Honorable Cassani Laville, Minister for Health, Wellness and Social Services, who is representing the Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Ubuntu. That sounds good, right? Right. All right. Like my dear friend and colleague began Greta by saying Mabrika. But because I am, while you might not see it, but I am 1/3 Kalinago, so I will go further than Mabrika, and I will say, I will ask Itabia, how are you, for those of you from Roseville, okay? Her Excellency Silvani Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister for Culture, Youth, Sports, and Community Development, Honorable Kozia Frederick, Minister for the Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment, Constituency Empowerment, and Parliamentary Representative for the Salibir constituency, and his dear wife, Gwyneth. My dear honorable members of cabinet, greetings to all of you. Welcome to the Kalinago space. Mrs. Letitia Lestrade White, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Youth, Sports, and Community Development. Other permanent secretaries who are there today. Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, Local Government Commissioner, Assistant Local Government Commissioner, District Development Officer, and other staff of the Division of Local Government, outgoing Kalinago Chief, and past members of the Kalinago Territory Council, and your dear lady of the moment, Chief Ubuntu, incoming, well, Kalinago Chief, not incoming, she is Kalinago Chief.
and her dear husband, greetings to you. Former Kalinago chiefs who are here with us, and former parliamentary representatives, chairmen and members of neighboring village councils and various council clerks. I see we have in our midst many of our international partners, UNDP, IOM, UNICEF, cultural groups and performers, the wonderful students that I see at the back, residents of the Kalinago territory, the invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to all of you. It is a wonderful privilege to be here in the Kalinago territory today. It is always a pleasure to be here, but today is distinctly special. And I'm sure that all of you can feel it. All of you can experience it. As my dear brother Kozia would say, this is a special place, a space that serves as a living testament to the strength and the resilience of the people of the Kalinago territory. It is a display of your ongoing commitment and your perseverance to promoting indigenous culture and mere survival. The Kalinago people have long played a central role in shaping our nation and our nation's identity. And our rich culture, traditions, and history have been intricately woven into the very fabric of Dominica. You are the first people. Through centuries of struggles and challenges, the Kalinago community has remained steadfast in its mission to safeguard its heritage while pursuing a better future. I know it was said earlier that there are often concerns for the preservation of tradition, but when I look at even in this mere edifice that we are sheltered by, and I look up, I see a space, a building that is fortified by modern, resilient architecture and engineering, but I see also the strength, the resilience of you all by the vestiges of your tradition, the covering that is still preserved today. So this is a wonderful way in which you marry your traditions with the modern resilience that now is required in everything that we do. So it's not merely in infrastructure, but it is something that must be carried on for the survival of our people. I extend congratulations to Mrs. Annette Sanford, who has been elected as the first female Kalinago chief. And this is certainly a proud moment for the wonderful people of this community. Congratulations to you, dear chief. On behalf of the government of Dominica, I wish you and your team all the success as you embark on this very important journey of leadership. I got almost teary for a moment when I heard you say that you lost your dear mom at age 7. And I too, while I did not lose my father that young, but I have never had my father alive in my adult life. So I know what it feels like to celebrate wonderful moments like this and to not have some of your loved ones to celebrate with you. But may I say too, may you continue to stand on the shoulders of your ancestors, your mom being one, and may the strength of all your ancestors and all your loved ones of blessed memory continue to push you from strength to strength in your journey of leadership. My friends, from the youngest chief in Lorenzo to the first female chief in Mrs. Annette, I believe this is another wonderful example of the strides that we are making as a people towards greater inclusivity as a people, towards greater gender inclusivity also as people in Dominica. And this is something that we should absolutely celebrate. Not only that, today in our midst, in our presence, also from the Kalinago territory, is our first female head of state, who is also a Kalinago brave. And I feel so proud that all of these firsts are coming here from the Kalinago territory, and this is something we must celebrate. And it appears to me that we are making tremendous strides towards the achievement of our sustainable development goals, particularly goal number 5, greater equity and opportunities for our women and our girls. So I'm happy to see our international partners here, IOM, UNICEF, UNDP, who work closely with us. Certainly this moment and these things must be recognized and celebrated by all, because truly in Dominica, we are the first of many in achieving greater equity. So we're ahead of schedule. While the world is looking towards 2030, we are doing it now. Equity is being lived and realized right now. As a government, we have taken deliberate action to provide similar opportunities for all of our Dominicans, and particularly the people in this indigenous community. More than ever before, we have seen our young Kalinago brothers and sisters achieving so much. Scholarships. We are seeing that many of them are holding jobs of high repute all around Dominica and in the world. Just right here, I am looking towards the back, and I'm seeing their brother of our chief, who is one of 2 local surgeons, general surgeons, working in the hospital. I see also my dear friend from college, Danny, who is an IT specialist working at ICT in government, someone who helped to transform the way we collected data, particularly during the COVID period. And this is the impact that we're having right here with talent, with people from the Kalinago territory. And this is something that we must certainly celebrate. So we should be proud of them. And this did not happen by chance. The wonderful things that are going on in the Kalinago territory, it's not by chance. This is deliberate action. It is the will of the people. It's the will of the government, will of the councils, to ensure that we continue to thrive as an indigenous people, as an indigenous space. And we will continue. You have the assurance of us that we will continue to do just that. So I know in your final words, former Chief Lorenzo, you asked and you made that fervent plea that we continue to work with the council and to represent the interests of the people of the Kalinago territory. You have our absolute word and our absolute commitment to do just that. It is not because you are a nice person that we worked with you. It is because it is the right thing to do. It is the virtuous thing to do, to put the first people first, and that we shall always do. You have our absolute commitment, Chief, that we will continue to work with you and your council. We've continued to see the elevation of students from one tier to another by their performance even in primary schools. We see it many times in the grade 6 national assessment. So while I will not single out the school, but you know one of the schools in this space continues to be among the top in terms of the performers year after year. We see that hundreds of Kalinago women, the elderly or children, continue to benefit from our various social safety nets. We see that many of our elderly have been able to benefit from the non-contributory pension allowance. We see many people's lives being transformed, the way they receive care, the dignity that is brought into their lives through the Yes We Care program. Our grandparents, our parents, we see it. And this is something that we will continue to commit to, despite who the council is, or despite who the chief may be, or despite who the power may be. This is something that is virtuous, and we absolutely commit to supporting the Kalinago people. My friends, we have seen transformation in the area of housing. I've been advised that before Hurricane Maria, we had slightly under 800 homes in the Kalinago territory. The government, through various interventions, has committed to, and not only commitment in words, but commitment in action by our demonstration. We have seen that just last year, through one of the programs where we committed to building 50 homes, 36 were handed over through one program. And in another, we have committed to over 200 homes. And that we're seeing day by day, we continue to realize that commitment and that promise to the people. When I compare 250 homes versus about 800 homes, what existed before Maria, I see that the government has committed to the construction of the homes of 1/3 of that housing stock in the Kalinago territory. And if this is not significant, then I really don't know what is significant. And I have not even added to this number the amount of support that came through housing and materials support for various other people. So that we shall continue to commit to transform this space. And this is deliberate action. This is political will. It is a commitment to people we believe that deserve that type of support in order to achieve the equity that we continue to speak about. My friends, you've heard of the Kalinago Development Fund, and that is something that we will also continue to support. We have seen through this visionary fund, and we have seen the transformation of the lives of many entrepreneurs. And this is one of the opportunities to break the chains and the bondages that many people have suffered over time, to give you that opportunity to move from one tier to another, to enjoy the opportunities of business ownership and entrepreneurship, and that freedom and flexibility and that extra space in terms of disposable income and the opportunity to build generational wealth. It's not for you, for your families. And this is what we're doing, and we will continue to provide the requisite resources to ensure that the KDF always remains. That is our commitment to the people of the Kalinago territory. My friend, you have seen the transformation of roads in this area. $126 million investment in the roads, East Roads. That is significant. And to let you all know, while we keep on saying 126 million, we need to stop, because actually it is 176 right now, because through deliberate action it has been decided that we need to do it better. And with that being the case, while construction has been going on, we saw opportunities to improve and to upgrade, and we saw the challenges and learned the lessons of environmental impacts and phenomena, and we saw the opportunity to increase the size of every single culvert along this roadway and to improve the drains to ensure that there is always access to the Kalinago territory. I know what it is like when we suffered the rain events on November 6th, I believe, of 2022, when it was fine in Roseau, it was fine in Mao, where I'm from. And my dear brother Koze called, and I heard him almost in tears. And my other colleague, Honorable Octavia, expressing the challenges that you all are confronted with, because this is the vulnerability and the volatility of the environment here in Dominica. So while we might be safe in one area, there might be complete disaster in another. And we came and we had to try so many ways to access the Kalinago territory. And you know there are various routes to access. Every one we went to, we blocked off, we cornered off. But eventually we met and we walked through that night in darkness, and we saw some of the failures. And these are the opportunities to learn lessons. The road had been designed already from 2022. It was being implemented. and it suffered damage. But we felt that we needed to, because of virtue, we needed to invest more. And it's not easy in this difficult global environment to find $50 million. That is lottery money. Not even lottery money for Dominic, we're talking about mega millions and Powerball in the USA. But we had to find it to ensure that when or if ever we are faced with this challenge of the environment, that you are not locked into the Kalinago territory, to ensure that you have access to all the services that are outside of your space. This is our commitment to you, and we'll continue to commit to you and to ensure that these projects continue to be pursued and to be implemented in the way that you deserve. My friends, we are not here by chance. I firmly believe that this day was written. We were destined to be here on this day, and I am happy for all that is going on. We continue to prioritize the people of this blessed space, the Kalinago territory. We'll continue to do all that we can as a government to ensure that you continue to live with the dignity that you deserve, to continue to have an equal voice, to continue to maintain your heritage. We'll continue to walk along with you, shoulder to shoulder, in your path, in your course, alongside you as a new Kalinago council. And we shall be there for you. Council members, the road will not be easy. As leaders, we must always see ourselves as representatives council members, we must always see ourselves as representatives of the people. We must never separate from the people. It is not about us, it is about the people. And also too, I recognize by the numbers that I see here, I recognize that there is definitely full support for the council. But in democracy, it's not only about voting. Voting can merely occur in one day, in one moment, in one instance. But I say to you as a community that you must continue to support your council. You must continue to work alongside the council. You must ensure that you hold them accountable, you hold them responsible. As a government, we will continue to do all we can to foster the greatest relationship to ensure that you all are first. My friends, congratulations to all of you. This is a proud moment for Kalinago territory. I thank you sincerely. One of the first things the council may have to do is invest in microphone. And I know Power Up, one of the first things we may have to do is to work alongside the council for us to invest in a new PA system. I know the service may have been outsourced, but I am sure that is something that we can partner on. Even before we move along to commit to a day where we recognize the Kalinago people on our holiday. Like you said, this was one of the first acts by our chief that we probably consider July 4th as that day that we will celebrate as a nation, the first people. But of course, the Power Up is a historian first. And we recognize also, I read a lot, and I recognize in 1903, this was the time period when this space was given to you. Imagine that something that's yours is given to you. All right, so this is something you may want to consider. This might be an opportunity for more engagement with the people, and I am sure that you have the blessing the support of the cabinet and the wider government to ensure that we fulfill our promise to you, the people. Thank you very much. May God continue to bless you, and may the spirit of your ancestors continue to move you from tier to tier and strength to strength. Congratulations, Ubuntu.
Thank you to Honorable Cassani Laville for his words of encouragement and for giving us the confirmation that the government will work with the new consul and chief. We look forward to discussing and of course working together. At this time, we're going to have a few presentations. So I call on Miss Ellie. And we call on Her Excellency, President Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, to receive the presentation. Honorable Cozier Frederick, Parliamentary Representative for the Salibia constituency. Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister for Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development.
There's a step, there's a step.
Honorable Cassani Laville, Minister for Health, Wellness and Social Services. So we are coming to an end of the program. At this time, we call on Pastor Cornelius to offer the closing prayer.
Good afternoon. I would like to begin by just saying thank you to the Kalinago people, my people, as I've lived here in Crayfish River for over 23 years, Dominica for 30 years. It's nice to be a part of this celebration for good friends that we've known for so long, Miss Annette Sanford, and congratulations on her and her council. I know that my family and I and those in the church that I pastor will be continuing to lift you all up in prayer and are available at any time to help that we are needed. I would like to just quote the Apostle Paul as he urged believers to remember those in authority before I commit this council to the guidance of the Creator who has made us. In 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 to 4, he says, I urge you, first of all, that petitions and prayers and intercession and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and come to the knowledge of the truth. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the privilege to know you, the one who has created all things, And Lord, you have created this day and you have raised up these leaders at this time for a purpose that only you know and you can see down that road. And Lord, I pray that for our Kalinago chief, Annette Sanford, and her council, that you would give them wisdom and even beyond their own ability, and patience and courage and humility to lead and to raise up this Kalinago territory, that they would lead with integrity, that they would lead with honesty, and that many would benefit from this leadership. And so, Lord, I commit them into your hands for your guidance, for your protection, and for your leading in their lives. And thank you, Lord, so much for the privilege to be here today, for your guidance throughout this year and throughout this term for this new council. May it be one that is used by you to do many great things, to lift up and help those especially who are vulnerable, and to make the Kalinago folks proud of the territory in which they live. And we thank you for this, I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
At this time, we call on Wayne Rossi, Councillor, to give the vote of thanks.
Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton and Mr. Burton, Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister of Culture, Youth, Sports and Community Development, Honorable Cassani Laville, Minister for Health, Wellness, Social Services, representing the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Kozia Frederick, Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment, and Constituency Empowerment, and Parliamentary Representative for the Saliba constituency, and other government officials and distinguished guests. Today, I am charged with this awkward task of giving the vote of thanks because there's always someone I would forget, but bear with me. First of all, special thanks to the Almighty God for blessing us during this ceremony. On behalf of the Kalinago Chief and Council, I would like to extend hearty thanks to our President, Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton and Mr. Burton, for gracing us with your presidential presence, and also for the investiture of the Kalinago Chief. Thank you. To Honorable Cassani Laville, representing the Prime Minister, thank you for your presence, indicating your wavering support for the Kalinago people. Your remarks were well received. Thank you. Thanks to Honorable Kozia Frederick, Parliamentary Representative for the Saliba constituency and Minister for Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, for your presence, support, and your willingness to collaborate with the Council. Thank you. Thanks to the Local Government Commissioner, Mr. Tousse, for administering the oath of office to the Chief, and to the Honorable Greta Roberts, Minister for Culture, Youth and Sports, and Community Development, for the presentation of credentials to councillors. Thank you. Special thanks to the incoming Kalinago Chief, Mrs. Annette Sanford, for taking the mantle of leadership to lead our people and for making history as the first woman chief. Let's not forget to acknowledge the incoming councillors. Thank you, everyone. To our outgoing Kalinago Chief, Mr. Lorenzo Sanford, and councillors, we say a big thank you to you all for the sacrifice rendered and your dedication to service to the Kalinago people. Thank you once more. Thank you, Mr. Langley and Pastor Cornelius, for offering praise on our behalf. Another thank you. Thanks to the cultural groups, Kalinago Cultural Group and Kalinago Dancers, for the rendition you brought to this event. Thank you. Thanks to all who have contributed in cash or kind or helped in any way towards hosting this event. I would like to say thank you also. A big thank you to the media, GIS, DNO, Dominican News Online, DBS, for translating this event to the rest of the world. I would like to say thank you. And finally, thanks to all whom I may have forgotten. You are also as important and special to us. Once again, thanks to everyone, and may God bless the Kalinago territory. I welcome everyone here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rossi, for your vote of thanks. At this time, the Karina Cultural Group will do a performance, and then we will have refreshments available. All right, so at this time, we will be serving the refreshments. We'll give the dignitaries first, and then
And this was the 10th inaugural meeting of the Kalinago Council. And with this, we say goodbye, everyone, and thanks for joining. Once again, congratulations to the new council, and we wish them best of luck and success. Thanks for joining, everyone, and goodbye. And again, like everyone said, it really was a good showing here from the people of the Kalinago territory. It really was a good showing. Quite a few people turned up to view this auspicious event. And with this, we say thanks everyone and goodbye.
my driver.